Alabama against Arkansas. We're hanging out here at InnisFree in Tuscaloosa. I'm Mick Gillispie with Trey Hannity. This is what it's all about, man.
Hogs and High Tide. Excited for some more college football. Let's do it.
Bama Insider Tailgate Show coming up now.
The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is on the air. Alabama football is rolling, and we've got you covered with a breakdown of the game matchup, an SEC preview, and all the fun of an afternoon on the quad. With Bama Insider Managing Editor Kyle Henderson, recruiting expert Andrew Bone, and former Crimson Tide Sports Network broadcaster and SEC Network play-by-play voice Mick Gillispie. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is presented by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery and the only beer you need at a Bama tailgate party. Pearl River Resort Casino and Hotel in Choctaw, Mississippi. Let's Play, now featuring the sports book at the Timeout Lounge. Also brought to you by the Floribama world-famous Beach Bar and Lounge in Orange Beach. Genesis of Tuscaloosa, luxury with a national championship service department. Sevierville, your Smokies start here. Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Hyundai, the longer you look, the more there is to like. InnisFree, an Alabama Irish pub tradition. Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports. Not too small, not too big. Tuscaloosa is pronounced just right. Commercial banker Jay Weber with Service First Bank. Hotel Indigo, Tuscaloosa's amazing upscale boutique lodging in downtown. NewLifeArt.com, publisher of fine art editions by Daniel A. Moore. R&R Cigar, the home of the Victory Cigar, with 2 locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport. And Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. Now, here are Kyle and Mick.
What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, presented by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And for the next 2 hours, we're going to preview number 2 Alabama against number 21 Arkansas. That is 2:30 at Bryant-Denny Stadium. On the show today, we got a plethora, as El Guapo said, on the Three Amigos of great guests. That includes Andrew Hutchinson from hogbeat.com. That's the Razorbacks rivals site. He's going to preview Arkansas. My good buddy Chris Stewart from the Crimson Tide Sports Network is going to jump on. Andrew Bone, the recruiting expert at Bama Insider. Jeff Cameron from the College Sportsbook. Him and I pick games every week. Guess who's ahead by 2 games right now in that conversation? But still, a lot more to go. We'll have a conversation with our friend Stan Adams as well from Tuscaloosa Sports and Tourism. I'm Mick Gillispie, and it's great to see you, Trey Hannity, here at InnisFree in Tuscaloosa, getting set for Crimson Tide football.
It's great to see you too, Mick. Great to be back at InnisFree. We have our Yuenglings here tonight. All kinds of swagger for the people that came out. Another great week of football. I mean, this is Arkansas. This is a team that's really kind of a roller coaster throughout their season. You know, for Alabama, this is another chance to tune it up before Auburn, before the SEC title. Potentially, they got to win this one or at Auburn. But overall, I think it's going to be a really fun week. In the last home game, this is crazy how fast this season has gone by.
It's senior day. Alabama's 9-1. It's a shaky 9-1, but it's 9-1, right? And then Arkansas 7-3. They went for 2 against Ole Miss, so they could be 8-2 on the season. They're a really good football team. We're going to talk about Nick Saban, his comments about this matchup, and more. We're live from InnisFree here in Tuscaloosa on the Strip. The remote is brought to you by Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. We had our Screwball shots. We're giving out Screwball swag right now. We got Yuengling swag. People, you will come on the InnisFree cam and be grabbing stuff as we talk to you tonight. And let me tell you what tonight is, all right? From 6 to 8 every Friday, we record the Bama Insider Tailgate Show on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Many of you listen to this show on our flagship radio station, Jocks 2 100.5, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, around the state of Alabama. Great affiliates like Fox Sports Shoals in Florence, and you listen 9 to 11 a.m. So as you're going to your tailgate, you want to impress your friends, you're coming to town, grab a Yuengling. Don't forget Cheryl Yuengling from Pottsville, Pennsylvania, part of America's oldest brewery in the ownership. Went to school at Alabama. She puts a little crimson love in each one of these bottles. And that's what makes this show special. She loves Alabama just like we do.
She does, and the Crimson love is present. I think we're going to see it again this week. This is the last chance Alabama fans get to come to the stadium. And you know what? We got a time change since the last time we had a game this late. I think the lights are going to be going. I think everything's going to be crazy for this atmosphere. But one thing I'm interested is the tone that Alabama sets in this game. Because, to start the season, Miami, into those first 2 home games, we saw Alabama come out and just dominate, score 21 points unanswered to start most of those games. We haven't seen that in the last 5 or 6 weeks. I'm interested to see kind of what pace they set in this game, because Arkansas is the kind of team that slows you down a little bit and maybe, can control that pace at times in this game. I think tomorrow's going to be a different kind of contest.
Well, what Alabama's got to do, obviously, they got to stop the run of Arkansas and make them one-dimensional, right? But let's talk about Alabama right now, Trey. And the fact that Alabama's running back room has become an issue because of injuries. Chase McClellan, I think he was the most talented running back on the roster. He got hurt. Alabama lost to Texas A&M. I will swear to everybody in InnisFree here, if he would have played, they'd have beat Texas A&M, right? Roydell Williams wasn't like he was a huge factor, but he was the backup to B-Rob, Brian Robinson, who's a 6-year guy now. Now he's out. Kamar Wheaton's out. Trey Sanders moves up to number 2, and we got a receiver, Christian Leary, right?
Christian Leary, yeah.
We got a linebacker.
A freshman receiver.
We got a linebacker, Kennedy from down in Theodore, and maybe Slade Bolden is a running back now. I saw reports that now he's in that running back room for Alabama. They're thin at back.
Mick, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Nick Saban maybe throwing some pads, hop in that running back room this weekend. It is, it's going to be everything Alabama has. There's no Chase McClellan. There's no Roydell Williams. But at this point in the season, I think we're saying, thank God that it's not Brian Robinson that went out, because we're finding out how talented he is week in and week out. And I think tomorrow we see that workload increase a little bit. Arkansas's D-line's been good at times, but look at that Georgia game when Arkansas was exposed for the first time this year. They just ran the ball all over the Razorbacks and really just kind of slowed down the game. And I think that's important for tomorrow. Set the pace, like I said a second ago. Set the tone early in this game. And, while you have a thin running back room, maybe find other ways to work in this offense. Chris, our producer, and I talked about it on the way over here. Last time Alabama played Arkansas, Mac Jones had a lot of under routes, a lot of quick plays, maybe 5, 10-yard plays. That could be kind of the theme tomorrow, I think, to an extent. I don't know if Alabama is going to try to establish the run game, with these other guys. Maybe it's Slade Bolden. Maybe it is Demoy Kennedy or Christian Leary. I'm excited to see what they do there. But overall, you don't have to make your running back room the emphasis on this offense. You have the Heisman candidate as your quarterback and an unbelievable receiving core. But tomorrow's going to look different on offense, no doubt about it.
Yeah, look, Nick Saban continues to praise the team, right? And I think it's because they lack confidence. When they're rolling over the competition, and every game looks easy, he's always worried about the team getting complacent because they're listening to all the rat poison, he calls it, right? Well, the rat poison isn't there this year, as it has been in years past. I mean, it was a struggle to beat Florida. It was a struggle to beat LSU, who stinks this year. They lost to Texas A&M. Now, they played some really good football as well against teams like Ole Miss, but him being so positive about this team after the game makes me think, in my mind, that they lack confidence.
Confidence for this team has been another roller coaster ride, and I think that's because this team is so young. I think in a season, if Nick Saban's team was number 2, number 3, and he had the guys, his team was predominantly juniors, seniors, we probably see him get after this team a little bit more. You don't want to wreck the confidence of these young kids, right, especially when you may have to play a freshman wide receiver at running back. Nick Saban loves this narrative of his team not being number 1, but typically, he knows he has the tools to beat anybody in the country. This season, it doesn't look like that's necessarily the case. Alabama's number 2, and I think that's a fair, critique on this team to this point in the season. There's a clear-cut number 1. Georgia's been the best team in the country. So I think, in a season where Nick Saban knew he had the best guys, he probably is laying into them like we would see regularly, but with such a young team and, a team that's still figuring it out, I think you kind of have to be calm. It's almost like, a kid in elementary school versus a high school player. They're learning and they're figuring out this system. And while they're number 2, they still can beat Georgia. But I don't think, really getting after them with the media and even in practice is the right way to get them there.
Alabama wins. You mentioned Georgia. Alabama wins. They're going back to the SEC championship game. against Georgia. They win this game against Arkansas today, and then guess what? They play that no matter what happens in the Iron Bowl, they're playing Georgia and trying to repeat again as SEC champs.
Wild to think about, that this season is already to that point where Alabama can clinch later on today. But, I think this team is so much more focused on just being the best Alabama they can be, because, you can look ahead to Georgia. You can talk about that room. And, I'm sure there's scouts, there's assistants, there's guys right now studying Georgia film, figuring out how can we beat Georgia. But Alabama still hasn't put those 4 quarters together. Right. We talk about that week in and week out. We're waiting on it. Maybe tomorrow's that day. And I think they're really focused on getting that together. Injuries have created, some crazy situations roster-wise right now. I think the defense could be feeling that even more than the offense at this point. But, setting the tone, like I said, and just finding your identity these last 2 weeks is way more important than, playing a game that puts you at the caliber to beat Georgia. Figure out who you are. This is a young team.
Alabama's going to have to play their best to beat Georgia, but they're not there yet. They got to beat Arkansas. They got to beat Auburn. Those are 2 really important games to finish the regular season. Normally, this would be a cupcake game, and then you play Auburn. But the way the schedule is now you play Arkansas and then Auburn. Who's going to step up for this team quickly?
I think tomorrow we're going to see Jamison Williams have another big day because of the way the running back room looks right now. And you know what? I'm still waiting on John Mechie to have his game this season. That could be tomorrow as well. I think you look to the receiving corps to kind of have your big day on offense. But overall, just get a well-rounded performance, I think, without, the depth at running back.
The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort and Casino in Choctaw. Now's a great time to make your picks count at the Sportsbook at the Timeout Lounge. Nick Saban talked about fan entitlement on his Thursday night call-in show. He also talked about player entitlement. We're going to get into that when we come back. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show right after this.
Yuengling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yuengling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling? At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
The tradition of giving fine art continues with the Daniel A. Moore Alabama Christmas Gift Pack, including the new 2022 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar, featuring some of the most honored former Alabama players, 1 collegiate classic fine art print signed by the artist, and your choice of 4 Daniel A. Moore beverage mugs, all for only $79, a $115 value. Order now at danielmooreart.com or by calling 1-800-735-2787.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans, we're here to play.
You can't spell Alabama without the Bama. And you can't spell Floribama without the Bama. That's not the only thing that Alabama football and the Floribama have in common. There's heritage and pride. And, of course, keeping the fans happy. For 57 years, this iconic honky-tonk on the Alabama state line has been keeping our customers happy with the utmost attention on customer service. Great food, live music 365 days a year, and more events than we have time to list. Get the info you need at Floribama.com. Make your plans to join us on the line.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
We're having a great time at InnisFree in Tuscaloosa, getting you ready for Alabama and Arkansas. 2:30 CBS kickoff. Crimson Tide with a win over Arkansas would make their 15th straight over the Razorbacks, and it would also put them in the SEC championship game. Our time here at InnisFree is presented by Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. If you haven't tried it yet, I'm telling you guys right now, and I promise you, not just because we're giving out the swag, not just because we have the Screwball Christmas lights and the beanies and everything else. It is a great tailgate beverage. It's amazing. You can drink it straight. You can mix it with stuff. There's all kind of great things. If you put cranberry juice with Screwball, cranberry cranberry juice, like peanut butter and jelly shot. It's really good.
Wow.
If you take Yoo-hoo, the chocolate drink.
I was going to say, I think we did that at InnisFree for the tailgate show last year.
We did.
That's one of my favorites.
And that's a Reese's cup, right? Don't forget, too, as you're going to supply your tailgate with beer, it's Yuengling Lager. Get Yuengling Lager, 6th generation company. Cheryl Yuengling, who's part of the company's ownership, proud Alabama grad, went to school here. Budweiser can't tell you that. No. Bud Light can't tell you that. Miller Lite, I don't care who you're talking about. She went to school here. And she loves Alabama. She's part of a group text, and every Saturday we always get the roll MF Tide from her, right? Anyway, look, there's a little bit of crimson love in each one of those green bottles, and right now you can get the Yuengling Hershey's Porter. You know it's amazing. You've tried it. You know what I'm talking about.
I was trying to get it tonight. We had to settle for the regular one. Still, plenty of crimson love in here, but the Porter, oh my goodness.
You love that Hershey's. It's that time of year, right? Yuengling's Porter's always been great. You put the Hershey's in there, it's amazing. All right, let's get into something. Let's be serious here for a second. Chris Daltrey's over there on the switches. Guys, as you watch on BamaInsider, like and subscribe. Comment section, we're going to throw some of your comments on there. We appreciate you guys. And if you're listening on radio, roll tide as we talk Alabama football like we do before every Alabama game, right? Nick Saban came out and he was like, there's some entitlement on the team. He's trying to motivate these guys, and he's trying to motivate Chris, and he's trying to motivate Trey, and he's trying to motivate Mick, and he's trying to motivate all you guys because he says we're entitled.
We've heard this argument before. My sophomore year, this Alabama team was unbelievable. It was 2018. They just won the national title. They were dominating everybody. It was maybe week number 4. He came out during a press conference and had this whole speech about the fans. But I'm a little confused this year, Mick. I think it's been a really good year for the fans. I mean, they came out, sold out Tennessee. They were packed out for Southern Miss even, Old Miss. The people were going crazy. I still haven't been in the stadium this year. I'm not going to lie. We do a lot of our coverage from the BamaInsider studio, so I don't know the field, but we've been outside of the stadium, countless times after the game. And from what I've gathered, I think the fans have done pretty good. I don't think it's warranted. You guys love the Crimson Tide. If you're watching this show, if you're listening to this show right now, you love the Crimson Tide. So, I think you're with me in saying that Nick Saban went a little bit too far, but I get it. This is the last home game. This is the last time you get to go in the stadium, be a fan, wear your crimson, and hey, this is the last time you get to stay for 4 quarters. So I suggest doing that to avoid actions like this in the future. But, the players' entitlement, I think, is the overarching narrative at all times. How to avoid it, how to figure out what entitlement is for your team. And you know what? This team has done a pretty good job of that, I think. This team is young. They could have come in here and said, hey, we're all 5 stars. We're the best recruiting class in the history of recruiting this past season. But you know what? I think this team has tried to learn throughout the year. While they haven't performed necessarily like other Alabama teams, they put in the effort, and we're seeing little improvements, even if we're not seeing the overarching improvements we wanted to see at this point. I think they're trying. Entitlement is a strong word. Fans, you do not deserve it. Maybe the team. I don't know. I'm not going to make the call on that. But, yeah, heavy stuff from Nick Saban this week.
Look, I'm going to take the other side as the OG here, right? Every time I walk into InnisFree and I see my boy Kevin, he used to bartend at Harry's when I was in college, and Wayne Mills used to play, which, by the way, at Fort Bama this week, they're going to do a Wayne Mills tribute. I'll be there. I love Wayne, miss him so much. And when I was at Alabama, Wayne Mills on Tuesday night at Harry's was the thing, right? Kev bartended there, and now he's here. He only comes here on Fridays and Saturdays during game days, right? He's got his whole family and all this other stuff. Anyway, we're the only two that remember what it was like for Alabama to lose. I think that's what his point is. It's like, hey, wait a second, man. Like, we win all of these games. It's not supposed to be easy. And we can't, expect all the time that we're going to win every single game by 30 points. Appreciate what a 1-point win means, or a 6-point win, or a 10-point win. Appreciate the winning part of what we're doing. He says stuff to motivate the team sometimes, right, when he's got these really good teams.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't a really good team. This is a good team. This is a team with weaknesses, right? But this is still the second best team in the country. The problem is that Georgia's the best team in the country. I still think Alabama can beat Georgia. But what Nick's doing is he's telling us, hey, make sure that you're positive about all of the success that this team's having at 9-1, and he's telling the team that you're not entitled to your playing time. You got to go out there and earn it. That's just coming from me, living through Dubose, and Shula and Franchione, Mike Price, all these people that are watching out there and listening on the radio know what I'm talking about. All right, let's go to the next topic. Bryce Young, right now, the odds-on favorite, BetMGM, has him at plus 175 to win the Heisman. CJ Stroud of Ohio State is plus 225. Kenneth Walker of Michigan State, the running back, is plus 350. Matt Corral of Ole Miss is plus 700. He's the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman. But to really win the Heisman, he's going to have to do some work.
Yeah, I was expecting you to say he's going to have his Heisman moment.
Heisman moment. Exactly.
I got to disagree with that. I don't think he needs it. I think he's done enough at this point, and maybe he has that Heisman moment, and that's the icing on the cake. But at this point, we talk about the other athletes. CJ Stroud has had a similar season to Bryce Young following week number 3. Look at CJ Stroud's numbers before week 3; they weren't very good. I can go ahead and foreshadow that one too. Kenneth Walker's had an unbelievable season. Matt Corral's had a very solid season.
17 touchdowns, 1,500 yards.
Been unbelievable. And you know what? He probably needs to have lower odds than he does right now, to be honest. I would probably put him at that 225. But Bryce Young.
If you were the book.
If I was the book. If I'm Vegas. I'm not. But at this point, I think Kenneth Walker's maybe had the best season out of all 3, as crazy as that sounds. But regardless, Bryce Young isn't worried about it. And I think that's what's made him the Heisman this year. He has never let any of the outside stuff get involved.
All right, well, look, there was a catch made at the LSU game last year. Do you remember that catch? Chris Daughtry, do you remember that catch? You know what I'm talking about. The one-hand snag. New Life Art has it. It's a Daniel Moore print. That was the Heisman moment, right?
That was.
Mark Ingram won the Heisman. He was in Atlanta playing Florida, and Tim Tebow, and he had a stiff arm. That was his Heisman moment, right? Derrick Henry ran over everybody. He didn't have a Heisman moment. He had like 10 of them, right? How important is it to have a Heisman moment? Because I feel like a lot of the guys that win the Heisman have a Heisman moment. I mean, you can go through and kind of remember not just the Alabama players, but a lot of these guys.
I mean, you can make the argument every single Heisman to this point has had that moment, but I also got to, turn to the fact that last year Devontae Smith was facing Trevor Lawrence. He was taking a number 1 overall, had all the hype coming into it. He was going up against his quarterback, Mac Jones, who had an unbelievable season. The quarterback in Florida, also Kyle Pitts, and another teammate, Najee Harris. The field last year was unbelievable. All 5 of those guys would have won the Heisman this year. But there is no Trask. There is no Lawrence. There is no Pitts. There is no Mac Jones.
Right.
And, against the CJ
There is a Mac
Stroud.
Jones. He's just winning games in the NFL.
I was going to say
right now.
dominating the Atlanta Falcons last night. But, this year is different when we talk about the Heisman. And, even to Bryce Young, he's had an unbelievable season, but he hasn't had that moment. And there's been times where you don't feel like he is the true Heisman. I think he's going to win the trophy just because of the field, to be honest with you.
Huh?
Yeah.
I think for him to win, he's going to have that magical moment. He doesn't show a lot of emotion. I like that about his leadership style, but I feel like there's going to come a point where he's going to have to do something. He's going to have that moment. He's going to have that play to get him there. He's in great position right now. Yeah. But look, Kenneth Walker and CJ Stroud play each other. They play each other today. They play each other, right? You got Matt Corral, who I think's fading out. I mean, he's really good, but I don't think he's going to be in the mix. I think C.J. Stroud and Kenneth Walker, unless somebody else pops up and jumps into this. But it's going to be interesting. It's good to see Bryce Young right there in the mix, and Will Anderson Jr. could be the guy. I was going to
say, you know what? There's a couple wild cards out there. Well, and even Kenny Pickett at Pittsburgh is not getting enough love. Everybody, that dude is going crazy up in the Berg. But weird race.
Saw him play
race.
too. He's a good player.
Really. Yep. Very, very talented.
Against Tennessee.
Yeah.
All right, Trey, what are you looking for in today's game against Arkansas?
The first thing, I've been a broken record on this show today, everybody. Let's set the tone. Alabama, go out there, score some points early in this game, put Arkansas in a tough spot because their biggest advantage is being able to manage the clock with their team and their defense. Do not let them do that. They're giving up about 150 yards on the ground. Alabama's getting about 160 yards on the ground this season. Let's shatter that tomorrow. Go out there, let Brian Robinson eat. Let's get this running back room, whoever is 2, 3, 4 tomorrow, get them some experience moving forward. And like I said, just set the tone. Go win a game. Get yourself to Atlanta.
Awesome hanging out with Trey Yannity. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show presented by Tuscaloosa Hyundai, the Elantra, the Sinatra, SUVs like the Tucson. Tailgating does not get any better. When we come back, Andrew Hutchinson of hogbeat.com, presented by Hotel Indigo, is going to break down the Hogs. Don't go anywhere. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show after this.
Introducing Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Now available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling? At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa near Home 2 Suites, or Northport next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show as we get you ready for Alabama and Arkansas, 2:30 at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Don't forget to like and subscribe as you hang out with us here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. And for those of you that are listening on radio, including our flagship station, Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, Jocks 2, 100.5, or across the state of Alabama. Thanks for listening and roll tide. Our show's always brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery, and our remote from InnisFree in Tuscaloosa, presented by Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. This segment is a preview of Arkansas. We'll talk with Andrew Hutchinson of hogbeat.com. It's presented by Hotel Indigo. When I'm in Tuscaloosa, Hotel Indigo is my place to go. That's where I stay. And I'm telling you, if you come to town, you're going to want to stay here too. It's right on the Black Warrior River, right across from Northport. You can throw a stone almost and hit City Cafe, which has always been one of my favorite places, even going back to when I was a student. At Hotel Indigo, it's fantastic. It's luxurious. You got the rooftop bar, which overlooks the Black Warrior River in downtown Tuscaloosa. You can walk to Bryant-Denny Stadium, to campus, to the Strip. It really is an awesome place, and the hospitality there could not be any better. So whether it's football, basketball, or maybe you have an event that you need to host, you got a wedding or a birthday, you can do it at Hotel Indigo. So check them out. All right, it's great to talk with Andrew Hutchinson again from Fayetteville, Arkansas, hogbeat.com. Alabama going to try to beat the Hogs in this football game. But I got to tell you, first off, thanks for coming on. And this Arkansas team is really good.
Hey, Mick. Yeah, thanks for having me on. And yes, they are a lot better than most people expected. I know there were some optimistic fans who before the season said they could win 8 or 9 games, something like that. And I was telling you, I picked Arkansas to go 6-6, and I was a little bit worried that was too optimistic because they are just a couple of years removed from back-to-back 2-10 seasons. So to be where they are right now at 7-3 and ranked in the top 25 is just a phenomenal job by Sam Pittman and his staff.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that there are so many things that this team does well at the line of scrimmage, and let's start there on both sides of the ball. I feel like Arkansas has some of the best lines in the SEC.
Yeah, the offensive line for sure. You could make a case. I mean, they're probably not as good as say a Georgia. We saw those lines up close and personal earlier in the season. They are really, really good. But Arkansas, for what they were 2 years ago under Chad Morris, where he wanted to have small offensive linemen that could move. There were only a handful of those guys that were even over 300 pounds. Ricky Stromberg, the current starting center, played as a true freshman. He was listed at 266 pounds. I mean, in the SEC, playing on the offensive line, that's like 1960s type stuff. So Sam Pittman has come in and they've transformed the offensive line through the weight room. And now they average, I want to say like 315 across the board, something like that. It's like 20 pounds heavier than they were. And it's mostly the same players. That's what's the most incredible thing is it's most of the same guys that were starting, 2 or 3 years ago. And they're just bigger and completely transformed. And it's definitely made an impact on that unit. Then on the other side of the ball, the defensive line, it was a struggle last year. It was a major point of emphasis for this offseason. They went out and they landed not 1, not 2, but 3 transfers from the portal on the defensive line. A couple of those from Missouri that had experience starting in the SEC. Trey Williams, Markel Utze, those guys have filled in nicely, as well as John Ridgway from the FCS ranks has come in and been a nice addition at the defensive tackle spot. And they probably want that unit to be that group to be a little bit better than they have been, but they have been a lot better the last 2 weeks than they were, the month leading up to that.
Yeah, coming off of a win against LSU, finally got the boot back. You got that Missouri game coming up. That's a rivalry game. The SEC obviously going to end up with Texas coming back in Oklahoma. So some old school foes for Arkansas. But Alabama and Arkansas, they've been division rivals now for a while, right? And when I look at this Arkansas team, I mean, it's the first time that they've really been solid since, I don't know, what are we talking about? Maybe 10, 15 years like this?
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty good in 2015 and should have been better than the 8-5 record that they had. And I think it was 2014 when Arkansas almost beat Alabama in Fayetteville. It was a 14-13 game when Arkansas missed an extra point and had a couple other plays that just didn't break their way. But this is probably the best they've been since 2015. And you could make a case if they beat Missouri at the end of the year to go 8-4, it'd be their best regular season record since 2011, back when Bobby Petrino was patrolling the sidelines.
Yeah, Bobby Petrino did a nice job. KJ Jefferson, quarterback. Love watching this guy. Big dude, can run, can throw. He's tough. What's it been like watching him on a daily basis?
It's been incredible. He has far exceeded my expectations, and talking to people around the program, I think he's done even better than they expected. He's a redshirt sophomore, third-year guy, first time being a full-time starter, and he has gone out and been incredible. There was concerns, and there still is a little bit of accuracy, especially on the short and intermediate throws, but I feel like that's improved throughout the season. They set a target completion percentage for him before the year of 65%. And I was talking to some other writers on the beat, and we all agreed, like, there's no way he hit 65%. Well, through 10 games, guess what? He's sitting at 65%. And he doesn't really make too many mistakes, throwing interceptions. I think he only has 3 this year. And one of those was on a Hail Mary at the end of the half. So he has been phenomenal. Plus, he can hurt you with his legs, and he throws one of the best deep balls in the country. And, of course, it helps when you're throwing to a guy like Treylon Burks.
Yeah, and let's talk about Arkansas against Alabama. What would Arkansas need to do to beat the Crimson Tide?
Well, the first thing they got to do is they can't shoot themselves in the foot. It's hard enough to beat Alabama, but it's even harder to do it whenever you're making mistakes. And Arkansas is one of the most penalized teams in the country. I believe one of the top 5 or 6, 7 most penalized teams. And some of them have come at critical times. And a lot of it is stuff they shouldn't be doing, like jumping off sides, false start, and things like that. They have to clean that up. And then other than that, you've got to be able to hit big plays when you can. You've got to be able to hit Treylon Burks on some deep balls or get it out to him in space and make blocks. That was one reason the offense struggled against LSU last week is they tried throwing screens to beat the blitzes that LSU does, and the blocks weren't being made out on the edge. And if they were, Arkansas probably would have scored a couple of more touchdowns. So they've got to do that, and then they've also got to play just sound defense and not I'd be lying to you if I said I felt like they could really stop that Alabama offense, especially with Jamison Williams, John Mechie. Those guys against Arkansas secondary worries me, but the unit is playing a little bit better as of late. Now that Miles Slusher, Arkansas's young safety, is kind of getting more comfortable filling in for Jalen Catalon, the all-SEC caliber guy who had season-ending surgery a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I look at the defense, and the guy that sticks out to me is Bumper Pool, just because I think that's just such a unique name. And, watching the LSU game last week, he made some good plays in that game.
Yeah, honestly, Arkansas's linebacker core has been surprisingly good this year. Bumper Pool, he actually doesn't even start, believe it or not. You got Grant Morgan, an All-American from last year, back as a super senior, and Hayden Henry back as a super senior. Both of those guys were 2-star recruits that weren't even on scholarship when they started their careers at Arkansas. But they've been playing well, as has Bumper Pool. has been much improved. He was actually a more heralded guy, 4-star recruit. I've heard interviews of him actually talking about being recruited by Alabama. So he was a legit dude, but he struggled last year despite having a lot of tackles. He also missed a lot of tackles, did not grade out well by Pro Football Focus, but he was playing with broken ribs. And I've never had broken ribs, but I imagine tackling SEC running backs and things like that is pretty difficult. So now that he's healthy and now that group has stayed healthy and on the field, it's been pretty good.
Awesome. Well, where can people read your work, Andrew Hutchinson?
Yeah, go check out hogbeat.com. That's the Arkansas site and the Rivals Network. And we cover it all over at Hogbeat. We cover football as well as men's basketball, baseball, and some other things as well. So go check it out. Lots of stuff to keep you busy on game day.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Andrew. And don't forget, guys, coming up next, Andrew Bone and our recruiting segment where we take a look at what's going on in recruiting. Some big-time guests will be in town this week. Alabama, the number 2 recruiting class, by the way. So don't go anywhere. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show coming up after this.
Yuengling Traditional Lager, the beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yuengling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling? At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
The tradition of giving fine art continues with the Daniel A. Moore Alabama Christmas Gift Pack, including the new 2022 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar, featuring some of the most honored former Alabama players, 1 collegiate classic fine art print signed by the artist, and your choice of 4 Daniel A. Moore beverage mugs, all for only $79, a $115 value. Order now at danielmooreart.com or by calling 1-800-735-2787.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
You can't spell Alabama without the Bama. And you can't spell Floribama without the Bama. That's not the only thing that Alabama football and the Floribama have in common. There's heritage and pride. And, of course, keeping the fans happy. For 57 years, this iconic honky-tonk on the Alabama state line has been keeping our customers happy with the utmost attention on customer service. Great food, live music 365 days a year, and more events than we have time to list. Get the info you need at Floribama.com. Make your plans to join us on the line.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. Alabama and Arkansas, 2:30 kickoff at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Senior day, too, for the Crimson Tide as they look to win and get back into the SEC championship game. They would clinch that with a victory. Our remote from InnisFree in Tuscaloosa is always presented by Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey, the new Fireball. Look, when you have your tailgate going, throw this out. Everybody there is going to love it. Just trust me. It's peanut butter whiskey, and it's fantastic. It really is great for a tailgate. You can drink it straight. You can mix drinks up. Got a whole bunch of recipes as well for that, including a little bit of cranberry juice and a little bit of Screwball, and we call that a PBJ. That's a peanut butter and jelly shot. This segment with Andrew Bone is presented by visitsevierville.com.
Fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Great time to get to Sevierville with Christmas time coming, and great time to recruit for Alabama right now. According to Rivals, they are number 2 bone in the country in recruiting, and they're going to have some big visitors in town, I'm sure, this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of turned into a bigger weekend than we had originally expected. They're going to have 5 official visitors on Saturday, some coming in on Friday, but throughout the weekend there's going to be 5 official visitors. There's going to be some more unofficial visitors, especially some top guys in that 2023 recruiting class. And I think we got to start off with talking about Evan Stewart, the 5-star wide receiver from Frisco, Texas. Number 1 wide receiver in the country. This is a big visit. It's an interesting visit because earlier in the week, it was kind of funny. Earlier in the week, I'd said on one of my shows that, it just seemed like Alabama and Evan Stewart things just weren't going to work out in terms of him making a trip back to Tuscaloosa. We had not really heard much from him over the course of the last few months. He visited Alabama back in June, spent a few days in Tuscaloosa, but really hadn't heard much since then. He's one of the top overall players in the country, but has taken some visits elsewhere, Texas A&M. He was trying to get to Florida this year, but ended up not making a trip back to Gainesville. Florida was actually the leader for him during the summer, but it seems like all that has kind of gone away with the way the Gators have performed this season. So right now, it's certainly looking like he's going to stay in state with, surprisingly, Texas A&M trending. Texas A&M has been doing a great job on the recruiting front this year, but we were talking more about Texas with him over the course of the last few months, and I think with the way things have been going over in Austin, it's kind of shifted the momentum a little bit over to College Station, and he's visited A&M a couple times already this year, and we just weren't hearing anything regarding a visit back to Alabama, and then so I made that comment on, I guess it was Tuesday night. Well, on Wednesday, it comes out that he's going to come back to Tuscaloosa for an official visit this weekend. And obviously, I think Alabama's just going to kind of see where his head's at, and really trying to make determination here. Are they going to really press forward and really make this strong push all the way up until the early signing period? They'll get a good sense of kind of where things stand this weekend, and if they feel like they've got a really good shot to potentially land him and bring him in this class. And that's what all these official visits are for. And I kind of call them a final interview, especially the ones that come in during the season or in December. They get a chance to come in, sit down with coaches, spend a lot of time with them. These recruits, they get to determine if they're going to really consider Alabama, but it's also Alabama. They get a chance to determine, are they going to really press for them? There's so many kids that come in for official visits throughout the season. It's not just players that Alabama's just going all out for. There's kids that they bring in for officials to really get to kind of know them a little bit more and get to determine if they're really going to press hard for them all the way up until signing day. And there's been a lot of kids that have come in that Alabama has brought in for officials, gotten an accurate height and weight on them, had different players on the team spend time with them and get to know them a little bit. And then after the visit, Alabama didn't pursue them any longer. They determined, all right, this isn't a guy that we're going to, continue to recruit, anything like that. So that kind of happens with a lot of these official visitors, and they're going to do that again this weekend. So you got Evan Stewart coming in. You also have Curtis Perry, in-state defensive lineman. Now, Alabama knows everything about Curtis Perry. He's been to Tuscaloosa. I think this is going to be his fourth trip to Alabama this fall, fourth or fifth. So they know him really well. They've gone out and seen him play this fall. They really like Curtis Perry a lot. Now, Curtis has come out and said that he's going to make a decision on December the 15th. So waiting it out all the way until the early signing period. But I would not be surprised if we saw him make a decision before then. He's coming in for this official visit this weekend. Alabama has already landed a few really top elite defensive linemen, including a big commitment a few weeks ago in Isaiah Hastings. So defensive line class starting to get a little tight. I think Alabama is going to really make a big push to go ahead and get Curtis Perry on board. We'll see if that happens. I know he probably still wants to take some other official visits, Auburn, Texas, Clemson. He also has UCF in his top 5. But I think in the end, it comes down to the in-state schools with Alabama and Auburn. I really like Alabama's chances with Curtis Perry, and wouldn't be surprised if we saw him make a decision this weekend. Now, there's going to be 2 commitments in town for their official visits. That's going to be 5-star linebacker Sean Murphy making the trip down from Virginia, and also in-state wide receiver Kobe Prentice. Sean is actually enrolling at Alabama in January. Kobe's not enrolling early. He's going to enroll in the spring, so he'll be there in late May. But these are 2 guys who are very solid with their commitments to the Crimson Tide. And you also have a big offensive lineman from California, from St. John Bosco Prep in California, in Ernest Green. Now, this is going to be Ernest Green's first visit to Alabama. Now, Alabama has shown a lot of interest. And, this goes kind of back to what I was saying earlier about the interview. I say the final interview. This is kind of the first interview for Alabama, at least getting a face-to-face with him and getting a chance to sit down with Coach Saban and get to know him. And obviously for Alabama to get to know him a little bit more and really determine, are they going to press forward? Are they going to heavily recruit him all the way up until he makes that final decision? There's probably only one more offensive line spot left in this recruiting class, and you have some big names that are still out there, some guys who have already taken official visits to Alabama this fall, including Keontae Goodwin, who's currently committed to Kentucky. You have Devin Campbell, the big 5-star guard out of Texas. Julian Armella, who's also a 5-star from Fort Lauderdale, visited Alabama a couple weeks ago. So this is another big, intriguing visit with Ernest Green coming into town. That's kind of a look at the official visitors that are going to be in Tuscaloosa this weekend. So obviously it's a big weekend, and it's certainly going to be a lot of excitement down in T-Town.
Quickly, any update on Arch Manning? Everyone always wants to know what's going on with Arch Manning and his recruitment, quarterback out of Louisiana.
Nothing new. I mean, it's still kind of the same thing. He's taken a lot of visits this fall. Enjoyed the game day atmospheres and stuff like that. He was in Tuscaloosa earlier this season, and obviously I think Alabama is a top contender for him. Texas is still in it. Obviously, Georgia, Clemson, Ole Miss, a lot of schools still in the race for Arch Manning. But one kid I do want to talk about today is there's a big decommitment that just happened out in California in Damani Jackson, 5-star defensive back. Been committed to USC for a long time. And I thought if Alabama can really knock it out of the park with him during his official visit for that LSU game weekend, they're really going to have a chance to potentially flip him. Mm-hmm. And he ends up decommitting from USC on Sunday. So I think things are really starting to trend in the right direction for Alabama with Damani Jackson. Now, he's probably still going to wait a little while, probably wants to wait and see who's going to be that next head coach at USC. He grew up a USC fan. I mean, this is a guy that, imagine growing up in Alabama, you're a diehard Alabama fan. and Alabama ends up firing the head coach, most of those guys tend to wait and see who's going to be that next head coach. I mean, Coach Saban came in and imagine Rolando McClain flipping his commitment to someone else. Rolando decided to stick with his commitment to Alabama. USC certainly not in the same position right now as Alabama is, but I'm sure he's going to wait and see who's going to be that next head coach. But as of right now, would predict Damani Jackson in Alabama's recruiting class.
Awesome. As you look at Andrew Bone's wall and my wall, you'll see a lot of prints from New Life Art. And if you use the code BEATBACKS right now, 10% off your entire purchase. So go to New Life Art to find out more information about that. But it's through the end of the regular season. So you got until after the Iron Bowl to take advantage of that 10% off. And you got all those great pictures back there, Bone, just like I do. And also, this segment with Andrew Bone is always presented by BoneHomeTours.com. Andrew J. Bone Real Estate.
There you go. If you're looking for, to buy any property in Tuscaloosa or Birmingham markets, looking for a game day condo or just, a residential home, please give us a call. And, we'd be more than happy to help you. We're actually located in Birmingham and in Tuscaloosa. We have 2 offices. So give us a call, 205-531-5577.
Always great to talk to Andrew Bone. We got Chris Stewart from the Crimson Tide Sports Network to start the second hour of the show. The Crimson Tide and the Arkansas Razorbacks kick off at 2:30. And on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, we're getting you ready for that. Don't go anywhere. More to come.
Yuengling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yuengling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
The tradition of giving fine art continues with the Daniel A. Moore Alabama Christmas Gift Pack, including the new 2022 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar, featuring some of the most honored former Alabama players, 1 collegiate classic fine art print signed by the artist, and your choice of 4 Daniel A. Moore beverage mugs, all for only $79, a $115 value. Order now at DanielMooreArt.com or by calling 1-800-735-2787.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
The world-famous Floribama has been serving up the good times and good music since 1964. And after 57 years, we're not even close to slowing down. There's live music 365 days a year and big events all year long, including the Frank Brown International Songwriters Festival. Mark your calendar and make plans to join us on the line November 4th through the 14th for a music lovers event like no other. You'll hear the stories behind the songs from the songwriters themselves. It's a full 10 days of incredible entertainment. Make plans to join us and get all the info online at frankbrownsongwriters.com.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. The second hour of the show is always brought to you by the same sponsor that brings you the first hour of the show. That's Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And also, don't forget our remote from InnisFree in Tuscaloosa is presented by Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. It makes any tailgate great when you bring that combo. You talk about a double play, Yuengling and Screwball. And Screwball is kind of the new fireball shot. You just pour it into a glass and drink it. Everyone at the tailgate is going to enjoy it. Like and subscribe as you hang out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Hit the thumbs up, hit the bell so that you know when new shows and press conferences with Coach Nick Saban and the players are coming up. Over 60,000 of you guys have subscribed. That's double from where we were a year ago. You guys are the best audience in the business. And for those of you listening on Jocks 2, our flagship station, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, 100.5 around the state of Alabama. Roll Tide, thanks for being here. Our first segment of the second hour is brought to you by Genesis of Tuscaloosa. Hey, don't forget right now, when you buy your Genesis, you want that great service, not just when you buy the car, but when you take it home, and that's what Barry Buckner and the gang over there provide.
We say goodbye to a new owner at Genesis of Tuscaloosa. We are very sincere. They may never have to come back to the dealership. With our Genesis Valet service, we pick up your vehicle at your home or office and return it after the service. And all maintenance performed by our service department is ranked #1 in the nation. Genesis of Tuscaloosa, you're going to like buying a car here. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Well, #1 in service is Genesis, and #1 in the country a year ago was Alabama football, and from the Crimson Tide Sports Network, who's been part of a lot of national champions, and that's our good friend Chris Stewart. What's up, brother?
My man, I'm great. Good to hear from you again.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks for doing the show. Always love to talk to you. And so many people here are going to listen to the Crimson Tide Sports Network and your broadcast of Alabama football moving forward today. So it's always fun to sit down and talk to you on the show that comes on before you guys.
That's right. You bless your heart. I used to joke that our broadcasts on the network were the longest, with the exception of anything that Jerry Lewis would do. Telethon wise, but you guys, you're the bookends, and you're done that for years. Great coming on before we did, and then on the back end. So it's a full day, but it can be a fun day, especially when the Tide's winning, and hopefully that's going to be the case today.
Yeah, talking about Arkansas, this game really worries me for Alabama, Chris. There are so many different reasons why I'm looking at this Arkansas team that's getting healthy, that is very physical at the line of scrimmage, already has some big wins, including over Texas A&M, the team that Alabama lost to. I know the spread's 20+, but Alabama is down to 2 scholarship running backs. They're pulling guys off a receiver and linebacker for that spot, and the offensive line didn't look good against LSU.
No, you're right. Look, here's the thing. Alabama, I think, is ranked where they should be ranked. I think Alabama to date is the second best team in college football this season. But Alabama each year is judged to a different standard, and especially by the fan base. We look at them compared to last year's teams, which was one of the greatest in the history of college football.
Mm-hmm.
Balanced, deep, explosive. all the great superlatives you can use to describe that team is what was used. This team is not that team. And they're not that much better than the other teams that are close behind them in the rankings. And if they don't play well, they don't play their best, they're vulnerable. And that's what we're dealing with in this ball game and this matchup for Alabama against Arkansas. Arkansas's best and Alabama off its game is a dangerous recipe.
Alabama needs this one to go to Atlanta to play the Georgia Bulldogs. Chris, you host the Nick Saban show. You guys record that after every game. Nick Saban's been very positive about this team, despite all of the shortcomings that they have. And to me, that signals confidence, that he's trying to build confidence up with these guys. What do you notice when you're spending time with him?
I agree. I don't think he's whistling past the graveyard, but it's why he's the best coach in college football. Is he understands how you have to manage teams, and they get beat up enough as it is, by the critics, by the fan base, whatever. They hear enough of that other places. So while he certainly points out faults and things that need to be improved in practice, he doesn't beat them up 24/7. And in every interview that's done, he's focusing on the positive in those settings and in that time. And in practice, look, here's where we got to get better. Here's where we're going to get beat if we don't clean things up. But it's not a constant, and it strikes me as so different, such a contrast. I think of Jalen Hurts' first game as quarterback, not too terribly long ago. It's been a few years, but it's not ancient history where the guy quarterbacks Alabama in a 55-6 or 54-6, whatever the number was, to beat USC, and everybody's going nuts and talking about how great he is, and he did turn out to be a great quarterback. But Nick Saban was so tightly wound after that game because he knew what the narrative was going to be. He knew everywhere those kids went to class, there was going to be talk about how they're back, they're a given to be in the national championship game. They're great. Jalen Hurts is the greatest thing since sliced bread. He knew what all the talk was going to be on campus and everywhere else. So what does he do? He neutralizes it. That's what he's doing here. When the talk's negative, he's neutralizing it the other direction. And it's why he's the best. He understands that. It's balance. It's balance. And he knows that he needs to balance it with positive when there's not as much in that regard as there's been in years past.
Chris, Nick Saban has the number one recruiting class. Well, at least they were last year, right? And Alabama's always recruited amongst the best. A lot of the players who were the stars of the junior and seniors class now are gone, right? They're in the NFL. They've gone on to big careers. There's a lot of talent that sits on the bench that isn't getting in yet. Eventually they will. He calls it the process. When does that point come, though, and will it come this season where maybe he reaches on the bench and we saw it with the story of Najee, Najee, he's not getting in, and in the national championship game he comes in and that's why he stayed at Alabama. He had a great run. I look at this team and I'm wondering, what am I missing here? Is it that these guys aren't ready yet? There's some spots where you would figure that some of these young guys could come and help out.
You would think so, but we're not at practice and we don't know, if there are things in areas where he just doesn't feel like they're either ready or can't be trusted, or he's just happy with what he has going right now and wants to bring that talent along at the right time. He's also a master at that, as the national championship win over Georgia proved with Tua. He brought him in at the right time. Now, some may say that was desperation, and it's fair if that's the route you want to go. But he also knew there was hardly any film on him. There was not enough to gauge of in pull and a scout for Kirby and that Georgia staff. And bam, you spring him on him, and he's who he became. So he pushes the right buttons at the right time in terms of personnel, and the right kids, if they can handle that, if they can be patient, it generally pays off pretty well for them. If they can't, well, then you probably weren't going to be able to trust them when the bullets are flying anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw a couple guys transfer last week out of Alabama. Not something that we're accustomed to. I mean, look, Alabama has some guys transfer, but a couple players transferred out that weren't seeing one guy was injured and the other guy some playing time. Do you think that's a trend that we're going to see at Alabama?
You'll see it everywhere, man. Everywhere. The ability to transfer and not have to sit out with a red shirt year, that changes the dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's different. Everything's different. But it's been changing. It's been evolving. There have been different aspects, whether it was the rules between the lines with the RPOs and the hurry up, no huddle, and the substitution things that changed. Nick Saban adapted to that. He's already adapting to NIL.
Right.
I got sent, I don't know if I told you this or not, but it was last year maybe. Literally the week that NIL came into being and got approved, or a week before, I got sent copy from Crimson Tide Productions, which happens a lot, and asking me to voice a video. Just here's the copy. We need you to read it. We're going to put it with the video. I didn't know what it was. I didn't really understand it. Didn't matter. I just did it. A week later, the day that NIL rolls out into existence by the NCAA, there's this video and there's my voice on it, basically marketing Alabama to student athletes in terms of how they can use NIL, and it's special at Alabama, and how you can brand yourself at Alabama and maximize what your earning potential is through NIL. Not being paid by Alabama, but how being tied to Alabama and the Alabama brand helps you build your brand. And I'm like, man, they were on this.
Yeah.
They were on this. I didn't even know what I was voicing.
Right. Surprise.
Promote that. Yeah, that's what they're helping to promote. So my point is, Nick Saban's got this, man. He's got it. And as best it can be managed anywhere by anybody, that guy's going to manage it.
Alabama looks to improve to 10-1 and punch their ticket to the SEC championship game, 2:30 against Arkansas, and that is at Bryant-Denny Stadium. The final home game, senior game for Alabama. All right, Chris, in 2 minutes, let's talk some basketball.
Sure.
You are the play-by-play voice of the Crimson Tide. Nate Oates with the ball rolling. He's been recruiting unbelievably well, and the team's off to a fast start.
They are, and have won when they weren't at their best, and that's what was fun to watch, because as I've talked to you off air, at least two of these games, I think the last two, in many of the seasons that I've done over 2 decades, at this time of year, Alabama basketball would have lost that game. That doesn't mean it wouldn't have been an NCAA team at the end of the year. I'm just saying at this point in the schedule, a veteran team, a tough team, hard-nosed, they may not have been able to answer the challenge that they got from South Dakota State and that they got in their most recent victory, this week against South Alabama. So it's great to see them handle that and win when they're not their best. When they're on, they're going to be as good as anybody in the country. And I think J.D. Davison coming along with obviously what Shaq and JQ bring in the backcourt. Charles Bediako is a dimension and a wrinkle that they haven't had. He's a rim protector that is great to have. He's going to be, I think, really good on the glass. But he is also a guy who handles the ball in traffic on the offensive end. And I don't mean bringing the ball up the floor, obviously, but there were a couple of dimes in the last 2 games that JQ dropped to him. We've seen this, Mick. Big men can catch the ball maybe around the rim, above their shoulders, around their waist necessarily, but very few can catch the ball in traffic around their knees, certainly not at their ankles. I'm talking about 6'11" guys. Well, he can. That's who he is. He handles it extremely well. He's going to be a special talent. He's just getting better and gives them a dimension they haven't had.
Chris Stewart, he's the voice of Alabama basketball. He's part of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. You hear him on football and a lot of other things going on at the Capstone, including the Nick Saban show. Chris, thanks for doing our show today.
My pleasure, man. Anytime. Great to talk to you.
After the game, the BamaInsider YouTube channel hosts our post-game show. That'll be on as soon as Alabama wraps up against Arkansas. And let me remind you guys that it is time to head over to Pearl River Resort in the Timeout Sports Lounge in Philadelphia, where they give you a great place to play the odds. Coming up next, we make our picks. We hear from Leonard's loser. All of that coming up. Jeff Cameron from the College Sportsbook joins us right after this.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, other luxury brands charge a whole lot more because they can. Every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
The tradition of giving fine art continues with the Daniel A. Moore Alabama Christmas Gift Pack, including the new 2022 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar, featuring some of the most honored former Alabama players, 1 collegiate classic fine art print signed by the artist, and your choice of 4 Daniel A. Moore beverage mugs, all for only $79, a $115 value. Order now at DanielMooreArt.com or by calling 1-800-735-2787.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, always brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery, as we talk Alabama and Arkansas. 2:30 kickoff on CBS today, the Crimson Tide with a win. Back to Atlanta to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. But they got to get there first, and they play today at 2:30 to try to get back to Atlanta and defend that SEC championship. Our remote at InnisFree is always presented by Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. You want to make your tailgate a lot of fun? I'm going to tell you the double play combo. Yuengling and Screwball. Just trust me on that, guys. All right, this segment with Jeff Cameron is presented by the great people at Pearl River Resort and the sports book at the Timeout Lounge. Jeff, I show you this every week as I bring you on the show because I just want to do this to you. This is Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. They call it the Augusta You Can Play. It's been voted Mississippi's best golf course. And that guy on there that looks a little bit like John Daly, you would love to play golf with him out on the greens, but it's a beautiful place. And when you go to the sports book and you gamble $50, you can play that course for $25. And it just does not get any better than that as we talk today. So how you been?
I've been great. And one of these days, Mick, you and I are heading over and we're going to gamble, we're going to smoke cigars, and we are going to play Dancing Rabbit together. It's going to be fun.
Be so much fun. Jeff Cameron, you know him, guys. 93.3 radio in Tallahassee, Sirius XM radio host, warchant.com, and the college sports book, the college football sports book, where Jeff Cameron talks to the experts from around the country each week to help you make your picks. Here's our picks, Jeff. I'm going to give you the standings right now. 21-19 for me, 19-21 for you. It's a 2-point lead for me. We got a couple of weeks left. Last week, I was 2-2 with Wake, and Arkansas lost with Auburn and A&M. You won with the BC Georgia Tech over, which was really a great bet, by the way, and then lost with Auburn, A&M, and Wake.
The Wake game killed me, man. NC State had the lead with however much time there was there. That was a coin flip game. That one hurt me because I knew we were on other sides. And hey, it's gambling. It's what you do. But it's all right. We got time. We got this week. We got next week. We've got, I don't know if you're going to do it, but we got bowl games if you want. Hey, yeah, let's get after it.
Let's roll it out. And look, I put the championship belt in the background there, so you can see that. So for all of you that are watching on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like and subscribe as you watch. And for those of you listening on Jocks Radio and Tuscaloosa and Birmingham or around the state of Alabama, we appreciate you being here. All right, I got that out. Now it's time for our Week 12 picks, and I will go first this week. All right, I can't remember who did last week. I forget every week, but I'll go first this week. That gives you an advantage. Number 3, Oregon versus number 24, Utah. And the Utes are at home right now with some momentum, giving up 3 points to a team that's in the college football playoff if the season ended today, right?
Yeah. This is a hell of a game, Mick. I'm really excited. I'm interested to see where you go with this.
Well, look, both teams, Jeff, can both clinch their respective divisions Saturday with a win and some help, right? You know, the Ducks have a 2-game lead over Washington State. You know, I'm figuring they're going to win that. So they need some losing to happen, and they need to win. Utah can clinch with a win, and then they need some help with Arizona and Arizona State. You know, whatever. I mean, but these teams are on a collision course to meet again in the Pac-12 playoff or championship game, and they're so much alike. I mean, you know this. This is a really tough one. Utah 35.7 points per game on offense, and then Oregon 35.3. The Ducks allowed 22 points a game, and the Utes 23. I mean, it's a flip of a coin. Utah's been so good at home. They've won 17 of 18. Kyle Whittingham right now becomes the all-time school leader in wins. If he gets the victory on Saturday, it'd be 142 for him. He's been great. Oregon, though, has won against Utah over the years, 23-10 all-time record. They've won 3 out of 4, including the 2019 Pac-12 championship game. They won that 37-15. I'm taking the points. I'm going with the Ducks in this game. I just feel like it's a coin flip. And when you go on the road and you beat a team like Ohio State, you're going to be battle tested.
Well, it's fair. I've wrestled with this game all week long. You know, Mick, I had so much faith and continue to have so much faith in Cameron Rising since they made the change at quarterback and Utah's physicality that I just can't waver with them. I've got to take Utah here. You know, I rode the pony. I've been there with them from the day that we did this show together, the first day. I had them preseason to win the division. I think they're going to do that for me. So the grand reward is for me to just not waver now. I'll take Utah.
Yeah, and look, you've got to bet against me. I mean, at this point, right? You got to pick up some games, although you got time left. But no, I knew you were going to take them. And I was kind of looking at it both ways. And, you know, like I said, I guess this one's a really tough one, the handicap. How about this game, the handicap? Number 5, Cincinnati is at home against SMU. SMU is picking up 12 in this game. And I'll let you start with your synopsis.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to gain a game on you here, Mick, because you're going to take SMU, and I, too, am going to take SMU. I already know you're going to do that because you've been waiting for Cincinnati to lose for weeks, and they've almost obliged, but I'm not going to take a loser just to take a loser. I like SMU as well, getting those points, and you and I both think it's worth – I don't want to speak for you, but sprinkling a little money, pizza money on the money line there and having SMU win outright. So – I think we're both SMU Mustangs this week.
Yeah, no, you know me. You're in my brain, and you're right. It is worth some pizza money. I mean, Cincinnati's begging to get beaten right now, and you can tell it's coming. I mean, they're getting chopped down each week. Nothing looks easy anymore. SMU's 5-1 against the spread as an underdog since 2019. Right? Cincinnati's failed to cover the spread in each of their last 4 games, and I mean, it's not just covering the spread. It's just they don't look good. The Bearcats are a really good offensive team. They're great at home. Look, but at the same time, I just feel like this is SMU's Super Bowl. You know, they had a couple of losses after starting out the season undefeated. Last time they played, SMU lost to the Bearcats 42-13. They were a 2-point favorite. I think they've had this one circled on the calendar. They're looking for revenge. And I think that not only will they cover the spread, but I got a feeling that they're going to win this thing straight out on Saturday.
Yeah, we're on the same side with that one. Not surprised.
All right, here's another one, our final game before we get to our lock. And it's my turn to go first. Number 7, Michigan State versus number 4, Ohio State. Unbelievably, Michigan State giving up 19 points in this game. Look, that's a lot of points, Jeff. Ohio State leads the series 34-15. Last time they met, 2020, it was 52-12, Ohio State. So, of course, they're going to blow them out, right? I mean, forget the fact that Kenneth Walker III is maybe – could be the Heisman Trophy winner when it's all said and done. I mean, he would be hard not to vote for. 15,000 yards, 17 touchdowns on the season, transferred from Wake Forest. Think if Wake Forest still had him in their backfield, right? Sparty ranks dead last in yards allowed per game. They're giving up 444 yards per game. Although they are second in the conference in sacks, they have 31. Ohio State is first with 33, right? So everything tells you that Ohio State's going to win the football game. Yeah, I would think so too, but I'm taking Michigan State. I don't even know why. I think it's just because all the struggles that Ohio State has had, obviously that wasn't the case against Purdue, but that game in against Nebraska was scary. You know, they've been inconsistent. Maybe they've hit their stride, but Michigan State's still 9-1 this year. I think they'll keep it to within 19.
The number is so big, and here's the problem. The reason I've wrestled with this game so much, because I think Michigan State's one of the best stories in college football this year. I've talked about that. I love what Mel Tucker's done. Kenneth Walker III has been a wonderful player to watch, and he is indeed a Heisman candidate. Across the way on that other sideline is the other leading Heisman candidate, I believe, in C.J. Stroud, and he's got the best wide receiving core in the country. And Michigan State's pass defense is terrible, 76th and big plays given up. And that's the area that they're weak going against an Ohio State strength. So I keep going back and forth. It's the guts, determination, physicality, good storyline with Michigan State versus the unbelievable offense that Ohio State's put together for the vast majority of the year, especially since that Oregon loss. I do need to gain some games on you, buddy. Games on you. I'm going to take Ohio State. I'm going to lay it.
There you go.
I think the pass offense goes nuts here, and I can see this being a 56-21 type game, so I'll do it.
Yep. And that would be look, Ohio State right now is trying to pull away in this round robin, right? They have Michigan coming up next week. This is a really important game for them. I could see them covering as well. But every time I've picked them big, they've lost, It's been one of those seasons. All right, let's do what's that?
No, I was just going to say the point here, and I think you're on the right side of the bet. I actually, if I had to place odds on this, I'd say you're going to win that bet. I am taking a bit of a risk here. But the one thing we got to think about, and you just said it, there's no way Michigan State can creep up on Ohio State because they're ranking at number 7 and they know what they are. But this is a bit of a look-ahead game, if that's possible, because, again, Michigan is laying in wait. And that is their arch rival, and I worry about that. I worry, for me, on this side of the bet, that Ohio State will kind of go through the motions and get an ugly win because they're looking to the Michigan game.
Right. But I could see Ohio State in this game, though, being up like 21-0 before you even get the TV turned on.
Backdoor covered. I'm telling you, I'm worried about the late game backdoor cover.
Yep. All right. It's time for our lock of the week. I got a good one this week, but you go first.
You put me on the spot here. You would think I would have prepared for this better. I tell you what, I've had fun lately watching Florida State battle. And I am told, for all of you out there, that they had a great week of practice. They're getting points on the road against Boston College. Give me the Noles to go up and get the win outright.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. They're playing good football right now.
Yeah, that'd be a big win over Miami leading into it. Here's a team that was once 4-0, and I told you I wouldn't be surprised if they lost every single game until the season was over. And I'm talking about the Maryland Terrapins. Now, they have won one since then. So they've gone 1-5 since starting out 4-0. They play Michigan at home this week. The spread's 14.5. Michigan 8-2 this year against the spread. The Wolverines have been favored by 14.5 points more than 4 times this season, and they're 4-1 in those games. Look, this Michigan team is motivated. I just like the way they play. Maryland's 3-7 against the spread. The Terrapins have been underdogs by 14.5 points or more one time this season, and they didn't cover. They're not going to cover this week. They're going to get run over by Michigan, who's going to control the ball. Talia is a good quarterback with no offensive line and no weapons. And I just think that Michigan is going to look like a boa constrictor. And by the time that this thing's all said and done, it'll be a pretty easy win for Michigan, and they'll cover that spread.
Yeah, I wrestled with a lot. I like that game, Mick. I think you're on it. I think that is an easy win. You do also have to worry a little bit about the look ahead factor as well, though. And that's the only thing I'd say about that. But yeah, I'm with you. That's a fun bet. The other game I was considering, and I shouldn't even bring it up because as soon as I do, it'll happen and I'll lose the one that I actually picked. But I really felt pretty good about UCLA minus 3.5 against USC this week. So just throw that back out there for the hell of
it. Jeff, always great to talk to you. The belt's right behind me. We've got to continue battling in the skins game of gambling to get to a champion at the end of this thing. But what do you got going on? Anything you want to tell our audience about?
Yeah, we did a Heisman video this week. I'll let the secret out of the bag. You go to College Sportsbook on YouTube there. I had Lee Sterling on from Paramount Sports. We continue to monitor those odds. We looked heavily at C.J. Stroud again. He got the opportunity now with these 2 games back-to-back to kind of put himself right there as the leading candidate over Bryce Young and over Kenneth Walker III. And I like Bryce Young, but unless you think Alabama's going to beat Georgia, and maybe you do, you probably can't lean on him right now because if they lose another game, there's no chance for him to get it. So I'm going to say that C.J. Stroud is your favorite right now, and that's a video we got up there breaking down the games that remain, the opportunities for other dark horse candidates, all that good stuff. We also did preview on the College Sportsbook, Michigan State and Ohio State. Fun preview there. So got that. And then I've got my 5 best bets, which will get posted today, and I always look forward to doing that.
Awesome. Always great to talk to Jeff Cameron from the College Sportsbook and many other entities. And don't forget, guys, this segment was brought to you by our great friends at Pearl River Resort. When we come back, we're going to break down Alabama and Arkansas. Don't go anywhere. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show coming up.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa near Home 2 Suites, or Northport next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
Experience the true spirit of Tuscaloosa at Hotel Indigo, downtown's first waterfront hotel overlooking the Black Warrior River. Hotel Indigo is perfectly located near a myriad of unique shops, restaurants, and the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. You rolling with the tide? Hotel Indigo is less than a mile from the University of Alabama. The Lookout Bar on the roof of Hotel
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show as we hang out from the InnisFree bar here in Tuscaloosa. I mean, this place is buzzing right now. And I'm telling you guys that because I'm hanging out with Stan Adams from Tuscaloosa Sports and Tourism. since we were on at the beginning of the show, Stan, all of a sudden I turn around and this place is just absolutely full of life.
Hey, there's a lot of constants in Tuscaloosa, and InnisFree is definitely one of those. I mean, no matter what time on a game day weekend, it's going to be slammed.
This segment's brought to you by our friends at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. You got the Elantra, the Sinatra SUVs like the Tucson. Tailgating doesn't get any better. And for those of you guys that are hanging out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like and subscribe, hit the bell. That way you'll know when we're hanging out. Our good buddy Jay Barker does his show right here on the internet on Bama Insider YouTube every day, Monday through Friday, noon to 2. And he wants you to make sure that you come and hang out. And then don't forget, after the football game, as soon as the game ends, or if it looks like maybe the last few minutes aren't really going to be worth anything, Bama Insider YouTube channel. We're going to be on with our post-game show. Kyle Henderson helps us out with that. And Chris Daughtry and Trey Yanity and me will be on top of the roof, the Skygate Club at the Westgate Luxury Condominium. So that'll be fun as well. Well, good to see you, Stan.
I appreciate you having me back. I've been on since the spring, so a lot of things have changed since then, that's for sure.
That's right. We were here for the 8A game,
yes.
And here we are, the last home game of the season in front of this big audience talking football. How's everything going over at Tuscaloosa Sports and Tourism?
Everything's going great. Everything's starting to, thank God, come back to normal. We've got a lot of big events coming up as we usually do. We've got I can't speak too much about it, but we've got right now, we're about to close in on an LPGA Symetra Tour about to come in for us.
Nice.
That'll be next fall. Obviously, SEC and Greg Sankey gave us a nice little blessing and released the schedule before they normally do. So that'll be next fall. And then we've got an obstacle course race. We've built an O course out there, Buddy Powell Pavilion. And when it actually comes down to that, that'll be huge for all of us too. So really big events coming up, and it'll be just like we always do. We're hitting the ground running as Don always makes us do. So fearless leader, as we call him.
Yeah, Don Staley was on with us last week. All right, well, let's talk. You talked about Tuscaloosa Sports and Tourism. Let's talk about Alabama football. How dangerous is Arkansas?
They are dangerous. I think they're going to give us a nice preview for Georgia. I think, obviously, Pittman's a Kirby guy. He likes to use a lot of those kind of stunts and fronts, and I think, as you saw yesterday from Saban's press conference, he holds Barry Odom in very high regard. I think it'll be a good test for us. If we can't run the ball this weekend, it's going to be a real dangerous for us moving forward, especially against Georgia. So they're dangerous. They're not that explosive, and we can contain Burks on the outside. I think we should have a really good chance with us.
So what does Alabama need to do to win this game, Stan?
I think they obviously need to dominate the offensive line and defensive line, just like it normally comes down to. I think we need to run the ball. I think that against LSU and New Mexico State was good. I think the new switches we have in the offensive line, hopefully that kind of plays itself out. I've heard, I don't know, maybe you have more insight than me. Chris Owens may not be starting. I love Chris Owens, six-year guy, but I heard maybe Javian George stays at right tackle and we have Dalcourt and Cohen back. So
that could happen,
yes,
right?
I hope so. I hope
He's been great.
That's the case. So hopefully that'll help us out in the run game.
Alabama, Arkansas memories.
Oh, man. I can go back to, 2007, I think Saban's first year. Matt Caddell, I think, back of the end zone to end the game. We drove down the field. I can go Darren McFadden. We can do all those things for you. But Matt Caddell is really my back of the end zone. I was right there at the 20-yard line when we caught that in the back of the end zone.
That's going way back there, man. I was thinking, first off, when I was a student at Alabama, I remember being out there and it was 100 degrees. And I mean, it was the mid-'90s. Yeah. Alabama lost to Arkansas, and it was just so hot. Everybody was breaking out of there. And then the Darren McFadden Felix game, they ran all over us, and Nick Saban still beat them. And that's part of this 15-game winning streak.
Exactly. It's part of it. And, that's what's funny is, Arkansas has kind of been down for a bit. They kind of go up. But they always have a good running game. That's one of those things you can always count on with them. Or you got the I think I was a sophomore or freshman in college when they were top 10. They came in there with Ryan Mallett, and we had the fake field goal we had Greg McElroy down in the corner to Julio. It was a terrible duck pass. Yeah. I hope Greg's listening. I love listening to him too. But that was a terrible pass too. But just tons of memories with this Arkansas game.
Remember the game where we missed all the field goals?
I like to forget that. Was that Tiffin's freshman year?
I don't know. I think it was before Tiffin.
It might have been.
Way back.
It was way back.
It was the Matt Jones game. Remember that one?
Yeah. Oh God, man, Matt Jones. for the longest time, he was like the leading rusher and like as quarterback for SEC history or something crazy like that. That's a bit blast from the past right there for you.
It's crazy to think that Alabama's going for 15 straight.
Yeah, that's insane. I was thinking about the other days. We always talk about the Tennessee streak and all the Mississippi State streaks and all that. No one tends to think about the Arkansas streak. I don't know. It's because they used to be in the Southwest Conference and not originally with us. But we have great. I remember back in the day, back when we were real bad in the early 2000s, Shad Williams' first play of the game against Arkansas might have been 2002, 2003, taking to the house. I'm going way back on.
I love those, man. I was there. That was my day, man. That was my day back in. And with those teams, and Arkansas has kind of found the resurgence with Sam Pittman. I mean, I got to give the guy a lot of credit. I mean, you wouldn't have thought that they would have gotten. They didn't even win. They went 2 years without an SEC win. They're a physical football team. Nick Saban's kind of told everybody, look, these guys are tough, and you got to be on your A game.
They're going to smack you in the mouth, and I think that's what we kind of need. But I love Pittman as a coach, and I knew he was the O-line coach at Georgia beforehand, but I didn't know nothing about him. I knew nothing. But, I mean, he's kind of bought into that whole Arkansas persona, and they kind of they believe in him, and that's dangerous at times. He's a physical guy. He's an O-line coach, and obviously they're going to be physical in the front on both sides of the ball, and they're going to run the ball, and we better be ready for it because they're going to give it to us if we're not ready for it at all.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, you guys make Tuscaloosa a great destination for tourism. The Civil Rights Tour, the trail, I think it's awesome, man. Like, I love the fact that, it's American history. Yep. We can all get behind it and be proud of it. And what they've got going on in Montgomery and what they've got going on in Birmingham and now Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, Dom was on here before, and I think it's kind of what we're talking about too is, we're always looking for stuff that's already here to add value to tourism here in Tuscaloosa. And that's part of our history here. And you can look at, like I said, Birmingham, Montgomery, and Selma. And I think what Don's goal is we make that a circle. And when people come to visit Alabama, they add us into that circuit. Because a lot of people come just to Alabama for the civil rights history, as they should. And we should be added in that. We have a lot of history to talk about and to express to other people. And the more and more money we put into that, I think the more and more we're going to bear from it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The farmers market on Saturday, I was jogging by it. I stay at Hotel Indigo. I run right by the farmers market. That's cool. You guys have had a lot of great concerts in town, too.
Yeah, I mean, we're not just sports. I think it's a lot of people think about us. I mean, hey, I'm executive director of sports, so I'm very sports centric, but I know we have other stuff as well. The farmers market is every Saturday. Actually, our office is connected to the farmers market over at the river market. That's absolutely fantastic. It's grown every single year. They kind of fought through it with COVID. They kept doing it, and I'm glad they've done that. And then, the amphitheater, we can keep bigger and bigger acts. And the more and more we're opening up stuff and more bigger artists are trying to come through, the better it'll be for Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, look, we got a shot of screwball here.
Oh, yeah.
You ready for a shot of screwball?
I'm always ready for a shot of screwball.
All right, well, good to see you.
Roll Tide, Nick. I appreciate it.
This is the new Fireball.
All right, I love it.
I invited Trip.
He ran off.
I saw him.
He ran off
that way. All right, well, look, you stick around. We'll make our predictions when we come back. Alabama and Arkansas, all you guys hanging around right now. You want to know what we think about this game. Bama's a 21-point favorite in this contest. They win. They're in the SEC championship game. It's at 2:30, Bryant-Denny Stadium. Don't go anywhere. More Bama Insider Tailgate. You're going to wrap things up, by the way, right after this.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yuengling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa near Home 2 Suites, or Northport next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Experience the true spirit of Tuscaloosa at Hotel Indigo, downtown's first waterfront hotel overlooking the Black Warrior River. Hotel Indigo is perfectly located near a myriad of unique shops, restaurants, and the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. You rolling with the tide? Hotel Indigo is less than a mile from the University of Alabama. The Lookout Bar on the roof of Hotel Indigo is the best place in Tuscaloosa to enjoy great views, appetizers, and spirits with friends. Book Hotel Indigo now and enjoy the best of Tuscaloosa.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
The world-famous Floribama has been serving up the good times and good music since 1964. And after 57 years, we're not even close to slowing down. There's live music 365 days a year and big events all year long, including the Frank Brown International Songwriters Festival. Mark your calendar and make plans to join us on the line November 4th through the 14th for a music lovers event like no other. You'll hear the stories behind the songs from the songwriters themselves. It's a full 10 days of incredible entertainment. Make plans to join us and get all the info online at frankbrownsongwriters.com.
Well, howdy, fans, and welcome to Week 12 of Leonard's Losers. This season is quickly fading into history, and soon we'll be singing, Please Daddy Don't Get Drunk This Christmas. The little smart pill machine was a respectable 18-8 last week, so let's pull that rope start and find this week's losers. Arkansas versus Alabama. The Hogs slopped their way to Tuscaloosa for this Saturday afternoon SEC matchup at Bryant-Denny. The Pachyderms have had a few shaky episodes this season, but are riding the place pony in the polls. The Tide is a 3-touchdown favorite, but best keep their focus on the Razorbacks instead of next week's Iron Bowl. Leonard's loser in a close one, Arkansas. Michigan State versus Ohio State. It's ESPN College game day, and the winner here stays alive in the college football playoff race. This one's easy, fans. Purdue beat Michigan State 2 weeks ago, and Ohio State beat Purdue last week. Leonard's loser, Michigan State. SMU versus Cincinnati. The Mustangs gallop to the Queen City for this Saturday afternoon slugfest on ESPN. It's senior day, and the most noteworthy is quarterback Desmond Ridder, who tossed his 79th career touchdown last week and has a 41-5 career record as a starter. The Bearcats are undefeated, but not so fast, my friends. Leonard's loser in an upset, Cincinnati. Oregon versus Utah. The Ducks control their own destiny, riding the number 3 spot in the polls and riding the top spot in the Pac-12 North. They need to win out for a Pac-12 championship game December 3rd in Las Vegas, and this is their first. Leonard's loser, Utah. Saturday is National Peanut Butter Fudge Day, so put away those Girl Scout cookies and have a football fudge fun day. And remember, if you can't wear a smile, wear a white hat so we can tell you from the bad guys. Get me out of here, Percy.
Always great to hear from Leonard's loser. We play him on the show each and every week. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Brought to you by Yuengling Lager. A huge thank you to Yuengling. Try the Hershey's Porter. That's out now this time of year. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Thank you for hanging out with us here as well. Don't forget, after the game, we will be on. Right after the game. And if it's a blowout, sometimes before the game's even over, we're on. Trey Andy, Kyle Henderson, and myself. We'll hear from Nick Saban, all of that stuff. on the BamaInsider YouTube channel. And for those of you that are listening on radio, on Jocks, our flagship station, or around the state of Alabama, Roll Tide. And thank you guys for being part of our show. The score prediction is driven by R&R Cigar. R&R invites you to come downtown to the Cigar Mansion in Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport. 2 locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon selection in the Southeast awaits you. R&R is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R Cigar and get a Yingling and a cigar for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown, near home to suites. TheCigarMansion.com. 2 locations serving Northport and Tuscaloosa. Sam Adams joining me. Stan Adams joining me. Mick Gillispie here. I called you Sam. That's the old coach at Hillcrest High.
That is.
You've been called that before.
That is. I have had that several times in emails, and whether it's the beer or the coach, I don't know what it is, but I get that all the time.
We're drinking Yingling.
Yingling
right?
is the number one. That's definitely for sure.
Do you remember the Sam Jackson?
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson from Spell Show. It's one of my favorite skits of all time. My buddies will comment on this in a second because they know we always reference that all the time.
Well, let's talk about this football game coming up. Alabama and Arkansas. A win for the Crimson Tide gets them into the SEC championship game. What do you think?
Well, I kind of sit there and, it's going to be a grind. I hope it's not as big of a grind as LSU. I don't think any of us were expecting that. Hopefully that woke us up a little bit. I know I've seen it 21, 20.5 kind of point favorites, but I think when it comes down to it, I like us 35-14. I think that's right about it. I think we could cover. But wow. Yeah, I think I'm very optimistic about it. I think that woke us up. I would hope so. I know you can't gauge anything from Mexico State, but I think we match up pretty well with them. If we bracket Burks on the outside, I think we do a pretty good job this weekend.
Look, it comes down to Alabama stopping the run for Arkansas. And Alabama's they're one of the best teams in the country against the run, so they're going to stop the run.
Yeah.
They're going to force Jefferson to throw the football. I like Jefferson. I think he's a good quarterback, but I think Alabama's going to be ready for this game. Nick Saban's sending out the messages right now. He's talking about entitlement. Fans and players.
Yes, fans as well. I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Because he's sensing that an upset can happen, and he's telling everyone, you got to be ready to try to fight this upset.
Yes, which I think he needs to. And he's been having to kind of waffle that the entire year. But this is not a game. I think it might help us that they actually got ranked this week.
Yeah.
I think we might have kind of walked in a little bit, it's Arkansas. And they've been on a slide for a little bit. But, hey, they look good the past 2 weeks. But when it comes down to it, I think the rankings should wake us up. I hope that's not what woke us up. I think Saban's been putting out the messages out there this week. But I think it should be a better game than we showed against LSU. I think they beat LSU last week in LSU, but I think that needs to be something that we need to wake up for. And like I said, they're nowhere near the talent on the defensive line as Georgia will be, but they run similar the same schemes. I know Odom wasn't a guy, but we'll see how it goes. But we got to run the ball this week, and that should be if we stop the run, we run the ball this week. I think that they got a really good defensive tackle this week too, and that'll with the center position kind of going in and out the way it's been. We need some consistency there. We need some push. I mean, that's what we need.
I think we're going to run for more than 6 yards.
I would hope so. I hope we have more rushing yards than we had penalties like we had the last big home game.
Well, look, I look at it like this. I think Alabama's going to – I don't know if they're going to cover 21. But
I think they're going to win.
Right. I think they're going to win this football game. I think that Nick Saban senses when he needs to kind of put the pressure on these guys to get in gear.
Yeah.
And this is an important game. You win this one, the Iron Bowl is just another game.
Exactly.
It's never just another game, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean. Nothing infuriates more Auburn fans more than telling me the Iron Bowl doesn't matter.
Right. You guys are out of it.
Love to say it. Y'all know it doesn't matter, but I agree. Take care of business this weekend. We have to run the ball this weekend. I know we've both been hitting on that. You got to be able to run the ball. I think that's where Georgia's susceptible, working down the line a little bit. But you can throw on Georgia. I mean, I think it's one thing, but you got to be able to at least establish the run. We can't have 6 yards, and that's got to be. I don't care if we run the ball. And we're really thin at running back right now. I mean, Saban talked about it this week. I mean, if you noticed last week in Mississippi State, Brian Robinson, with the whole starters came out second half. Brian Robinson wasn't out there, and he talked about it this week in his press conference as well.
Yep, and that's what Alabama's going to try to do. 2:30. On CBS, and we appreciate all of you guys for hanging out with us. Don't forget, next week we'll do it again before the Alabama-Auburn game. Will be on 9 to 11 on Jocks Radio, and you can always watch Friday night from 6 to 8. We record this thing like we do every Friday night to get ready for the game. I mean, it's just the way we do it. Like and subscribe as you hang out in Jersey Dolphins and all of you guys that are on the comment sections. Thanks for the super chat. We appreciate you all. Look, Stan works with Tuscaloosa Sports and Tourism. You're in Tuscaloosa. You need to check out the Farmers Market, the Civil Rights Trail, Tuscaloosa Amphitheater, and Druid City Music Hall, and all the great things that are going on in Tuscaloosa right now. I'm taking Alabama. I don't know if they're going to cover, but I know they're going to win, and that's going to set us up for the Iron Bowl. I always want to win the Iron Bowl. I don't care if it means going to the SEC championship game or just beating them. I want to beat them every time.
You always want to beat them every time, and I'm going to do my part and not show up because I've showed up almost every year the past 10 years, and when we have a doubt, it never goes well. So I'm doing my part and not going to attend the game this year.
You're not going there.
No, not going there. Love the time too much.
Don't forget, after the game, the post-game show on YouTube, on the BamaInsider YouTube channel, we'll have Trey Yannity, Kyle Henderson, myself will be on there from the Westgate Luxury Condominiums. We'll take your calls, and we'll do all that. And let me just say thank you to Trip Rogers and everyone here at InnisFree for making this our home for college football and the BamaInsider Tailgate Show all year long. We had such a great time. Yingling, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, Pearl River Resort, and the Timeout Sports Lounge, Tuscaloosa Hyundai, R&R Cigar, Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports. So many good people at Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey, Sevierville, Tennessee, Hotel Indigo, the Floor Bama, for our entire crew. Thank you guys most of all for helping us make this a great show. Alabama and Arkansas are coming up. Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.